Consumer Price Index, July 2023. Transmission of material in this release is embargoed until 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday, August 10, 2023. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, rose 0.2% in July on a seasonally adjusted basis, the same increase as in June, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the last 12 months, the All Items Index increased 3.2% before seasonal adjustment. The index for shelter was by far the largest contributor to the monthly All Items increase, accounting for over 90% of the increase, with the index for motor vehicle insurance also contributing. The food index increased 0.2% in July after increasing 0.1% the previous month. The index for food at home increased 0.3% over the month, while the index for food away from home rose 0.2% in July. The energy index rose 0.1% in July as the major energy component indexes were mixed. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.2% in July, as it did in June. Indexes which increased in June include shelter, motor vehicle insurance, education, and recreation. The indexes for airline fares, used cars and trucks, medical care, and communication were among those that decreased over the month. The All Items Index increased 3.2% for the 12 months ending July, slightly more than the 3.0% increase for the 12 months ending in June. The All Items Less Food and Energy Index rose 4.7% over the last 12 months. The Energy Index decreased 12.5% for the 12 months ending July, and the Food Index increased 4.9% over the last year. Food. The Food Index rose 0.2% in July. The Food at Home Index increased 0.3% over the month, after being unchanged in June. 4 of the 6 major grocery store food group indexes increased over the month. The index for meats, poultry, fish, and eggs rose 0.5% in July as the index for beef increased 2.4%. The Fruits and Vegetables Index increased 0.4% over the month and the Other Food at Home Index rose 0.2%. The index for dairy and related products increased 0.5% in July after decreasing in each of the previous 4 months. The Non-Alcoholic Beverages Index and the Cereals and Bakery Products Index were both unchanged in July. The Food Away from Home Index rose 0.2% in July. The index for full-service meals and the index for limited service meals both increased 0.2% over the month. The Food at Home Index rose 3.6% over the last 12 months. The index for cereals and bakery products rose 7.0% over the 12 months ending in July. The Meats, Poultry, Fish, and Eggs Index declined 0.2% over the year. The remaining major grocery store food groups posted increases ranging from 1.3%, dairy and related products, to 5.4%, both non-alcoholic beverages and other food at home. The index for food away from home rose 7.1% over the last year. The index for full-service meals rose 5.8% over the last 12 months, and the index for limited service meals rose 7.1% over the same period. Energy. The Energy Index rose 0.1% in July after increasing 0.6% in June. The Gasoline Index increased 0.2% in July, following a 1.0% increase in the previous month. Before seasonal adjustment, gasoline prices rose 0.6% in July. Other energy components were mixed in July. The Natural Gas Index increased 2.0% over the month, following 5 consecutive monthly decreases. The index for fuel oil also rose in July, increasing 3.0%. The index for electricity fell 0.7% in July, after increasing 0.9% in June. The energy index fell 12.5% over the past 12 months. The gasoline index decreased 19.9% over the last 12 months, while the natural gas index fell 13.7%, and the fuel oil index fell 26.5% over the span. In contrast, the index for electricity rose 3.0% over the last year. All items less food and energy. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.2% in July, as it did in June. The shelter index increased 0.4% over the month, the same increase as in June. The index for rent rose 0.4% in July, and the index for owner's equivalent rent increased 0.5% over the month. The index for lodging away from home decreased 0.3% in July after falling 2.0% in June. The shelter index was the largest factor in the monthly increase in the index for all items less food and energy. Among the other indexes that rose in July was the index for motor vehicle insurance, which increased 2.0% after rising 1.7% the preceding month. The indexes for education and recreation also increased in July. Several indexes declined in July, led by the airline fares index, which fell 8.1% over the month, its fourth consecutive monthly decline. The index for used cars and trucks fell 1.3% in July, after decreasing 0.5% in June. The communication index declined 0.1% over the month, as did the new vehicles index and the household furnishings and operations index. The medical care index fell 0.2% in July, after being unchanged the previous month. The index for hospital services decreased 0.4% over the month, while the index for physician services rose 0.2%. The prescription drugs index was unchanged in July. The index for all items less food and energy rose 4.7% over the past 12 months. The shelter index increased 7.7% over the last year, accounting for over 2/3 of the total increase in all items less food and energy. Other indexes with notable increases over the last year include motor vehicle insurance, plus 17.8%, recreation, plus 4.1%, new vehicles, plus 3.5%, and household furnishings and operations, plus 2.9%. Not seasonally adjusted CPI measures. The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, increased 3.2% over the last 12 months to an index level of 305.691, 1,982 minus 84 equals 100. For the month, the index increased 0.2% prior to seasonal adjustment. The Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, CPI-W, increased 2.6% over the last 12 months to an index level of 299.899. 1,982 minus 84 equals 100. For the month, the index increased 0.2% prior to seasonal adjustment. The Chained Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPI-U, increased 3.2% over the last 12 months. For the month, the index increased 0.2% on a not seasonally adjusted basis. Please note that the indexes for the past 10 to 12 months are subject to revision. The Consumer Price Index for August 2023 is scheduled to be released on Wednesday, September 13, 2023, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.